what's going on, Evenant? Big Jer, back with you again, and today we're going to be getting into the really fun stuff. We've presented the preset pack, we presented the sample pack. You got your skin. We went through the course, we made the sounds. We're here, we did it. Let's start having some fun. Now, what I'm going to say is, this is just like when I give you the MIDI of these things and whatnot, like this is just like the cue that I came up with. Obviously feel free to build that along with me, but I recommend after you build it along with me to use some of the other samples or use some presets that you made, or just use the same presets but make some new riffs or whatever. Like, have some fun, make a few cues. Like, this is how you're going to kind of learn it, Cool. But let's make this one. So we're going to go ahead and put a new MIDI track in. So that's Shift Command T. Okay, and we just need one for now. Don't get so excited. And we're going to go over here and grab ourselves a massive, because that's the drone we're going to go ahead and use. So if you went up and set up like we talked about, let's see, if you didn't, I could just show you real quick again. Go to Options, Browser, and you're going to add your samples here. I'm sorry, your presets here. Okay, and then since I did, I've got my Evenant folder right here. And I've got my drone right there. So I got my macros right here, but we can open up the whole synth and the macros are right down here. Perfect. So let's go ahead into our pack here. And we're going to go over to our MIDI. And we've got our drone. Boom, right here. Okay. Go ahead and pull that in. And we are ready to start working. Nice. Well, they're not doing much right now, but we got those macros to play with. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of make sure our volume is at least kind of close to the top. We're perfect, like right there. All good. So now what we're going to do is open up some automation. Now, if it doesn't, you could always, the way it works is I can go over here and just kind of wiggle it, and then it kind of pops up over here. But I could also open up this little drop down. I could hit configure, and I could just pop these guys right on over. So now I don't even have to worry about it. They're just right there. And, we took our time and made this patch pretty playable. So now all we have to do is kind of just figure out how we want this to sound. So let's listen a little bit and play a little bit. Cool. So let's go ahead and kind of draw something in here. Perfect. I like that. Let's just have it. I just want to make sure it's totally out by the time this build hits. Okay. And here's a cool little pro tip. If you hold down Alt, you see how I got this little curve thing happening there? Well, I could bend my automation. Okay, let's get this so we could actually make this kind of hang out up there for a second. And then I like that. So let's go ahead and just kind of make this do a slow bend, because this is going to be a build anyway. So. Now I'm going to leave these guys do their thing because we're going to have a lot of other stuff go on back there, so I don't want too much attention away from that. Same thing here, though, since this is going to be a nice little climax build up. I want to do another kind of pull here, and let's see what happens here. Maybe I'll just have it like up. Cool. So one final thing I'd like to do is take advantage of this buzz and maybe have it kind of, pull on up here during this build up as well. So if I wanted to see 2 lines of automation and just keep this one visible, I could hit the plus sign and it'll drop down. And then if I go ahead and click this guy, there comes the new line of automation. I could do this as many times as I want. So I'm going to go ahead and click here and kind of pull this up a bit. See how this sounds. Nice. Let's see without it. Yeah, definitely. It gives it that really cool, like, I don't know, like sci-fi feel. And then when it comes in, we'll leave it on. And then maybe we'll have it come down here and then back up right at the end. Beautiful. So you can see how these macro knobs really make the instrument come to life. This guy just went from boring and plain to pretty awesome, actually. So now that I've got the drone and I'm creating this kind of mood and texture, I want to create this now like little ARP melody. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new MIDI track, and I'm going to bring in my serum. And I believe the patch that I want to grab is abduction. Okay, right there. I want to go for right here, bangarang. Okay, cool. So again, you can see that these are just real simple, just one note things. We did all the work in the synth. Let's go ahead and just pull the volume down a bit, and we got this as our ARP, and let's hear what it sounds like. Okay. Sounds great. Let's hear it with everything. Cool. All right. So sounding great, doing exactly what I wanted to do. We made the melody already inside of the synth, but this is going to be one of those tracks that we really take advantage of in the next step with the freezing, flattening, printing to audio, and then doing our final edits. You'll see what I mean in a bit. At this point, let's add in our sub because we're needing some of those low frequencies. So let's put another MIDI track in. And you could do a sub one of several different ways. I loaded in I loaded in the stem for you over in the over here, the audio stem. Okay. I also loaded in the sample pack. I loaded in a one-shot sub. Okay, and let's go ahead and grab ourselves a serum. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and just dial our sub in, show you how easy it is. Okay, we're going to turn off our oscillators, turn on our sub oscillator, and we'll start there. we got to put the MIDI in too. So let's grab our MIDI here, sub MIDI, pop it right in, and here we go. Obviously, you would need to have some headphones or, some speakers or a sub or something to hear this. If you're just listening on your earbuds, I'm going to do my best to let you hear it, but that'll be in the mixing stage. Just turn it up a bit. There we go. And I'll tell you what, here's a cool little pro tip, little dubstep pro tip. Go to basic shapes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another sine wave, and I'm just going to put it an octave higher. Perfect. Okay, now let me show you why I did that. If I grab an EQ, notice without it, I get my fundamental right here, okay? Now, as soon as I add this, check out what happens. Ooh, Cool. Okay, so keep that in mind. Perfect. And we'll bring the volume down just a little bit. Okay, looking good. So from here, let's go ahead and add maybe a little melody in. Okay, so we're going to grab ourselves another MIDI track. Okay, we're going to go down to our Evenant thing here. We're going to grab our lead. Okay, bring it right in. It's going to add just a little bit of energy here in the middle section. Okay, let's go over and grab ourselves another serum. And this one was one of these right here, pads, I believe. Let's solo that and check it out. That's the guy. Let's just bring him down in volume. Okay, so one thing I want you to notice is that we have not done really any mixing yet at all. And the sounds, they're complementing each other. They're sitting in the right spots kind of naturally. And that's because and we'll talk about this more in the mixing stage, but I'm picking sounds that complement each other. I'm not going to pick like a brass hit and then a growl bass and then maybe like a concert bass hit, because it's all the same frequency. I'm picking things with different frequency. That's why we started with the drone, okay? And then we added a nice ARP, which was up high. We went way down low with the sub, and now we're filling in the middle here with the lead. All right, for this next track, we're going to open up a pulsar. Okay. And the one I used was the massive pulsar we made, sound the alarm, but I actually made a little addition to this because it wasn't quite working as is, so I tweaked it a little bit and I just resaved it as 2. So let's listen to it. This is what it's going to sound like. Cool. So maybe we could do something cool with like the pitching here, right? So we can go into here, go into our envelope, and here we go. Let's see, we've already kind of done some. There we go. Perfect, loving it. Okay, so we're gonna call this pulsar. Turn the volume down a bit and we'll tuck that in. Let's see. Perfect. Perfect. Back down there to close enough to 0. All right, looking good. Pulsar is there. Okay, so the last thing I want to add is a little rhythmic melody. So I'm going to go into my MIDI again, and I'm going to grab myself the ARP MIDI, and you can see how it's going to be right in here. So it's going to create like a little bit of a layering melody. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab my Serum. And the preset that I started using was our ARP Ready Go, but we're going to actually do a little bit of work on that to make it sit. So let's listen to what we got here. Let's go over to our section here, loop that, Command L. So what we're going to do is bring this down. And we're going to switch this to just something like this. There we go. Perfect. I think that's going to work just fine. Let's check that out in the mix. Nice. Cool. So put like, you know, maybe ARP Melody 2. Great. And that's pretty good for our backing tracks. I want to come back in the next video and do some of our bass effects, and then we will have a final mixing video. All right, we're doing pretty good so far. Let's cut it off here, and I'll catch you on the next one.